So with this video I'm gonna show you how to properly set up this plugin, so the Cube Lucky Block plugin, and I'm gonna show you how to use all commands that this plugin offers to you. But firstly, I will remember you that you have two commands that will help you with the commands. The help, here you can see all these commands, and the help too, that will show another set of commands. So let's start with the first command, that is the setting the spawn lobby, so where the player are gonna get tipped when joining the lobby. So let's do lucky set waiting spawn, and we are gonna press enter. We are gonna see that it registers all the coordinates, including the pitch and the yaw, so be careful with these two. So where you look, it will be registered. So I want to look here. I'm gonna do this. Remember that every time you want to save commands that you have done, you will have to use save to properly save the config file. Next is the set max player with set max player, and we are gonna be able to set the maximum player. In this case it's set to 4, and we can also again set this to 4. And you have also the set min players, in this case to start the game. So I want, for example, 2 players to start a game. After setting this, you can do save. Next we have the game type, because you can set the game to be a solo team, duo team or trio team. You can do this with set game type, and you are gonna see that it asks a type. So if I mess this, you can see you need to set solo, duo or trio. In my case I'm gonna set solo. So next we are gonna set the time to start, so the time after the minimum player joined, and that we can start the game. And we are gonna do this with lucky time to start, for example 30 seconds. So when in this case 2 players joins, we'll start a countdown of 30 seconds and the game will start. So set this to 30 seconds. Next we have the return lobby. So with this you are gonna set the bungee cord server, that all players are gonna be tipped when the game ends. In my case is lobby lucky blocks. Next command is the set map name, because we can set the actual map name, so it's separated from the word name. In this case I already call this cube 2, but I want for example set map name to cubes whatever, I don't know, whatever, and you're gonna see here cubes whatever. Next we have the command set min y. So when a player falls into the void, that could be in the waiting lobby or in the mid game, if in the mid game he will get killed, meanwhile here it is gonna get tipped here in the waiting spawn. And so by default is set to -35, but if you go in creative you can go under this limit just to set the void limit. I for example want to set this here, so I'm gonna do set min y, and now it's -22. We're gonna save this and we are good to go. So next command we have the set time max, so the maximum time of a game, and you are gonna do set time max, and for example I want 30 minutes, so this number in second. You have to set this in seconds. Here we are. So we are gonna save this, and next we have the clear inventory on join. So when a player joins the waiting lobby, he will get the inventory cleared. I don't know if you need this function, there is, so you can do /lucky clear if on join and set this to true. So you can see now player will get inventory cleaned when joining. Next command we have the give back tool, that is this door. So if we do give back tool and we mess this, it will say what you need to set. So firstly the boolean, so if true or false, and the hotbar index, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is the 8th position, and the destination, so this the bungee cord server name. So we are gonna do set lucky give back here back to, we are gonna set this to true in the hotbar 8, and for example I need this to go to the lobby lucky blocks, and you can also disable this, but I want this enabled. Now next command we have the give team selector, that is the command that will help the player to choose the team. In this case you can see is a boolean and a hotbar index. So for example I want this enabled and in the position 0, so here. In this case, if you see, there are by default 2 teams. For example, I'm gonna disable this to false, and you can see that now it's not working, so we are gonna just set to this to true. Next command we have the set fixed day, because we can set the fixed tick for the day. In this case I have shaders and you can't really see, but it's stopped moving the sun. So to do this you are gonna do set fixed day. You can see here the boolean, so true, and I want this to the tick. I'm gonna show you here. You can see it's now fixed here, but I want again this, for example here. I like this here. You can set whatever you want. Next we have the sidebar and the tab list. The sidebar is this, and you can just enable it with sidebar true, and now it's enabled, and you can also disable this, but remember that when disabling the sidebar and again enabling it, you need to restart the server. You can modify this IP, so it's just a string, and you can modify this title that you will be able to find in the config file. You can set colors and also placeholder, so you can set a placeholder here and here. It's pretty cool. Next we have the tab list. As you can see, by default this, and also here you can set the tab list to true or false. Here you are, remember to change the footer and modify the config. So from the config you will be able to modify this. So here, as you can see, you can modify your custom server IP. You can set whatever you want, and remember that you can use a placeholder. For example, bungee total, this will get the total of player, and also for the sidebar. And for the tab list, here we are, you have the header and the footer. For example, I want a tab list header like this, maybe colored with red, and these go under, so something like that. And you can use multiple lines, as you can see, and also here you can use a placeholder. For example, here we are gonna set bungee total. So we are back in the game, and as you can see, we have a tab list header with multiple lines, and the placeholder working with 1 because we set the bungee total. So next we are gonna see the remover. So the remover is a tool that will remove a certain area when the game starts. For example, I want to remove this area, so I'm gonna set this to, for example, like this. Lucky remover starter block here, and I want to delete everything after here, so remover and block. We are gonna save. You need to save this, and when the game will start we are gonna see that this area will despawn. So next another command is the enable map margin. This will set a map margin. Firstly, we need to set the map. So for example, I want this to start here. The highest Y is here, so I'm gonna do a map margin 1 here, and we are gonna set also this here down here. In this case here, I want this here. Remember, as you can see, it will not set the Y because already the Y is set with the set min Y. So let's save this, and now we can enable the map, that the map margin that by default is not enabled. So we are gonna do enable map margin, and we are gonna set this to true. Now if we try to go further, we are gonna get a message and get tipped back. This also works for here and for the sky, the Y. So I'm gonna go here, and as you can see we cannot go further. So next command is the new team, because we need to create teams, and to do that we are gonna do lucky new team, and as you can see it asks for a team name and a team color. So to create a new team we are gonna, for example, create a green team. So we can call this green or whatever you want, and here we are gonna set the team color. It's really important that you use one of these colors. I'm gonna show you that it's that are the default colors of Minecraft. So I'm gonna create these, and I'm gonna save this because I want. And now we created our green team. So we want to set the spawn of this team. For example, we want to create the spawn for the green team. So I need to go here in this map, and I'm gonna do set spawn team of the team green. So now the team green will spawn with this position and facing this pitch and yaw. So next we are gonna set the nexus of this team. So we are gonna set nexus team green. So now the nexus of the green team is this diamond block. Remember that for every team there will be only one type of nexus block and one type of spawn block. For example, I want this bedrock block. What I'm gonna do is lucky block set spawn block, watching this, and every bedrock block of every team is not gonna be breakable. And this is also for the nexus block. So you are gonna do set nexus lock, and you are gonna set diamond block. Now if we want to delete a team, you can do delete team, and for example green, if you want to delete the green team, or by default the red or the blue. I'm not gonna do this now. Next you can actually change the name tag of the players. in base of their team. So you can do name player team color and set these to true. Oh, sorry. Also, when setting these to true or false, you are gonna need to set if the name tag will also have the first char of your team name. For example, if you are red, the player will have as name tag R and his name, all colored with his team color that you set. So I'm gonna want these all to true, so true and true. As you can see, now the player will get the name tag color in base his team color, and the first char of the team name will be visible in their head. Next we have the SQLite configs, because you can set actually a SQL database. For now you will need external database or whatever, wherever the database is, and you are gonna do SQLite, and you can see if you want to enable this, so to true or false. In this case I want this to disable, and you can also set the ID. This is really important, because if you are pointing with the same DB, the same database, you want that every plugin that is writing in this database has a different ID. So for example, if this is your second server with the same plugin, you are gonna set this to true, for example. Next you are gonna set the DB path, whatever your DB is, and finally the table name, so the actual name of the table inside your DB. You should know what is a table if you are managing databases. Next we have the dead messages, because you can set custom dead messages with this plugin. So you can enable these or disable these. So as you can see in the bottom of your config file, you are gonna see dead messages, and you will have the normal messages and the final kills. So final kills are when a player gets killed, and final killed, sorry. And normal messages is when a player normally gets killed by another player or by himself. So here you are gonna set these two tags, for example the victim and the killer, when the victim gets killed by a player, and the plugin will automatically choose this string because it's the only one that has the killer and the victim. Otherwise, if the player, for example, fell into the void, you can just set a victim and not a killer, and the plugin will choose automatically one of these strings that does not include a killer. And this is the same for final kills. For example, here you can set these. Here you are. And now if the player fell into the void without a killer, the plugin will automatically choose this. In the next update of this plugin, you will also able to choose in normal and final kills special strings in base of the event that killed the player. For example, if an arrow killed the player, you are gonna be able to set a custom message just for the player that get killed by an arrow. So now I started a game just to show you how to actually add new items in your lucky blocks. That is the main reason why you have all these plugins. So I'm gonna choose these 4 blocks, and I'm gonna save, for example, the yellow terracotta. So for example, lucky, new item, and you are gonna need to set the probability of this item. I'm gonna explain you now. So I set these to 5, these to 5, these to 5, and finally these to 5. So what happened? You just set these 4 blocks, and now the game will choose a random block out of the sum of all probabilities. So in this example we register this block with 5, 5, 5, 5. So what's gonna happen is that this block will have 5 out of 20, because 5 plus 5 plus 5 and plus 5 is 20. So this block has a 5 out of 20 probability to spawn, and this is also for these other blocks. For example, I want this block, another, and I'm gonna show you, for example, 1. So what happened that now this block will have 1 probability out of 21 to spawn, and this will have the 5 out of 21 of probability to spawn. So this is all the plugin. You don't need to know nothing else. And now I'm gonna show you a really fast game example of this plugin. So thanks for downloading my plugin.